You may have already known there's only so much that a car can do when it comes to 2 feet of snow, but many people found it out the hard way today as they tried to drive and instead ended up stranded on our roads.
That heavy, wet snow brought down trees and power lines, leaving tens of thousands of people without power, most of them in northern Colorado.
You certainly need the shovel for this snowstorm, or perhaps the snow blower, right? I'll let you know when it all moves out and when our next storm moves in.
So tonight, here we are with most of the metro area dealing with the aftermath of one of our biggest snowstorms ever. It's made for a mess on the roads, shutting down highways, leaving drivers stranded. Cars and semis winding up stuck on I-70 at Floyd Hill.
Police spent all afternoon rescuing dozens of people stuck in whiteout conditions. E-470 was especially bad, very dangerous. Police pulled out their SWAT vehicle to get around, and then they gave the rescued people a ride to shelter. Colorado's National Guard has also been on call all weekend to help with rescues, a lot of them in Larimer County. Tonight, the Guard is working on a rescue mission in the Redstone Canyon area of Loveland.
And tonight, I-70 remains closed in both directions out of the metro area. Westbound, it's closed in Golden. Eastbound, shut down at Air Park Road. Then I-25, that's closed in both directions from Castle Rock down to Colorado Springs. As you take a look at Denver, thankfully the snow is starting to taper off because we already have plenty, as it is, to dig out from. But we do have crews covering the aftermath of the storm from all over the metro area. We'll start, though, with meteorologist Danielle Grant. She's live in the 9 News backyard.
Tom, the snow is still swirling here in the backyard, but the system that had a firm grip on Colorado all day long is finally starting to push out of the state. And the winds that we saw earlier this afternoon beginning to weaken just a bit, too. This storm system was historic, one for the record books. Officially out at DIA, we picked up 24.1 inches of snowfall. That takes us to the number 4 spot in the snowiest storms here in the Denver metro area in recorded history. Just incredible. I know a lot of folks remember that storm back in 2003. This one certainly will be setting some records, and folks will be remembering it too. We have the blizzard warning going until midnight once again this evening. Those winds, however, starting to weaken for us. This system beginning to weaken as well. The center of low pressure still circulating in and around the Eads-Lamar area, but starting to shift just a bit further to the east. Still some rain and snow showers pushing in across the eastern plains. And then here for the Denver metro area, beginning to start to see this snowfall coming to an end. A couple of light snow showers through Longmont, Fort Collins to the south toward Douglas County, but the winds backing off tremendously. Right now, just looking at 33-mile-per-hour wind gusts toward DIA. Earlier today, they were howling between 40 to 50-mile-per-hour speeds. Right now, we're in the 20s across the metro area. Overnight into tomorrow morning, we're watching this snowfall move out. Be sure to tune in to Mile High Mornings bright and early at 4 a.m. Ed Green will be tracking the storm system pushing out. By 8 a.m., a little bit of sunshine coming your way. Again, the blizzard warning in place until midnight. Tomorrow looking good. A little sunshine, a little warmer, a lot of shoveling to do. And then, of course, we have another storm system on the way. We'll talk all about that in just a few minutes.
We hope you stayed inside today. Otherwise, you were caught in something like this. Whiteout conditions all over the place today. There was just so much snow and so little visibility. And it wasn't just drivers getting stranded. Douglas County Sheriff had a CDOT plow get stuck too, along with the deputy. Our Jennifer Meckles is one of many people who got stuck today. She's live near DIA, attempted Pena Boulevard. She's near a hotel, like a lot of other folks who did the same, Jenny.
Yeah, questioning those decisions, I'm sure, like we are tonight, Kim. Yeah, so DIA says that, no flights coming in or out tonight, and they said that Pena Boulevard today was impassable. And I can tell you, we did see whiteout conditions, cars stranded along both Pena and the exits. It was a nightmare out there today. We'll walk you through the journey that we took this afternoon en route to the airport. So as we got off I-70 onto the Pena Boulevard exit, there's plows that were lined up there. And you could see they had been working on Pena, but it was just too much, even for these plows. It didn't take long before we came on whiteout conditions. And like a lot of other people, we said, yep, nope, time to turn around. We're done with this. We pull off onto an exit at Tower Road. That's kind of where a lot of those hotel airports are, right? Airport hotels, excuse me. And getting off that exit was really tricky. We weren't stuck in the snow, but there's was a whole line of cars waiting on the people ahead of them that were stuck in the snow. A few people managed to get out with a little help from a stranger, a little push. The rest of us were waiting basically on plows to get in and dig out the people who were totally stuck in the snow and eventually clear a path for everybody to finally get off of the roadway. While we were sitting on that exit, we met a family from Texas who came here on vacation.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was, if you stopped, you were stuck. There's no way to stop. Like, you would lose the momentum and you would just get stuck. So you would have to constantly keep moving and stuff. And the whole exit was totally buried. We totally didn't see it at all. And we passed it by. Some guy behind us plowed right through and was able to get through. And so I was going to reverse it. All of a sudden, there's like 10 other cars coming behind me. So I decided just to go straight forward and just go with it. Unfortunately, this happened.
Yes, this happened. A lot of people stuck, a lot of people waiting on plows. For the folks who did get off of the interstate tonight, they ended up like this at a hotel somewhere. A lot of these hotels, we talked to people that were here who were in the same position. Either they got stuck trying to get to and from the airport or work or whatever it may be. And pretty full tonight. I popped into 2 different hotels and they were filling up very, very quickly. Not sure how many rooms are even left available at this time tonight, Kim.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one. They'll all talk about it. March 2021. All right. You too, Jenny. Now get inside.
Hey, there are other problems too, like more than 33,000 people who lost power today. Hundreds of outages from Centennial up to Fort Collins. Right now, more than 27,000 people remain in the dark. Now, Excel does have more than 600 crews working to try to fix those outages, but they, like the rest of us, are dealing with the road conditions. That makes just getting to the problems tough enough. All that heavy snow has been weighing down the power lines and snapping off tree branches. And 9 News reporter Steve Stager has been live in Fort Collins. Some of the worst damage we've seen has come from up there today. Steve, they got blasted with snow and will have plenty to clean up.
Yeah, and Tom, the folks here in northern Colorado are dealing with those power outages in a big way. In fact, Excel says it could take until sometime tomorrow to get the power back on for a lot of people here because the conditions remain to be bad or remain bad outside here in Fort Collins and all around surrounding areas. If you take a turn down a side street, you might get stuck. It is thick, heavy snow that's bringing down power lines, heavy snow that is bringing down tree branches, which brought us here to this parking lot where we might have met the luckiest student at CSU.
This is definitely a bit more than I was expecting.
This storm will certainly be remembered.
But
Zach Shrimpa says he knew this was going to be big.
I was already going to come down and clear off my top so it didn't ruin it.
Zach predicted he'd have to clean off his car today.
It didn't even register last night. I was like, oh yeah, I'll park, over here. Nothing should fall on it. I was a little bit wrong.
Just a little bit.
Right there. So, yeah, it probably came down. I bet you it hit my bull bar. I got a Snapchat from a friend. It looks like it clipped your bumper. It might not be too bad.
One of the biggest limbs to fall in this residence hall parking lot fell right on Zach's hood.
I wasn't expecting a branch that big to break. That's massive.
A driver's nightmare that Zach takes in stride.
I take it off-road, I just dog on it. So if it gets damaged, it's like, oh well.
We're no insurance adjuster, but it would seem the damage is minimal.
So yeah, definitely pretty lucky to have avoided that. I mean, I'm just glad that I'm not in one spot over.
Though he says his car's license plate was practically asking for this.
It's almost saying like, what's up, come at me. Yeah, I survived this.
The spring storm of 2021 might not make the history books.
Oh no, it looks like it barely avoided it.
But it just might make Zach's Snapchat.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, it probably will make the history books as well, I guess. If you're wondering about Zach, he pulled up to us a little bit earlier, said that he's moving his car one spot over and that everything seemed to be okay. The big story again here in Fort Collins and around the area in northern Colorado are the power outages. There are several emergency shelters, one in Fort Morgan for folks out there. There are 2 in Larimer County, one's up in Wellington, and another is in Estes Park. We have all the details on those on 9news.com right now.
Well, hopefully all those people without power will be as lucky as Zach. Thanks, Steve.
All the snow turned the heart of Denver into somewhat of a winter wonderland. That is, if you didn't have to get anywhere in a car. The plows were having a tough time keeping up with the heavy snow, which made driving really tricky. 9 News reporter Katie Eastman is live near the state capitol. And Katie, the snow is finally slowing down.
It is, Kim, but these streets, most of the side streets especially, are still covered, and so are the tents in the homeless camps all around the city. Earlier today, we met 2 women who were trying to keep the people inside them as safe as possible. Every snow day comes with a choice. Some create a new challenge.
We're sweating underneath these big people.
Others stay inside. And Kelsang Viria,
Yeah, I'm trying to get this up here so it's more of an opening.
decides to help people who feel they don't have a choice.
Oh, it's kind of collapsing on you, isn't it?
She says 2 tents in just this one homeless camp have already collapsed from the snow.
Oh, here we go. We got it. Oh, maybe. I think I got to get some of that snow off the back.
Across the street from the tents is an emergency shelter for men.
Wait a minute.
Viria sees 2 guys in tennis shoes headed over when their feet get too cold.
Get some dry socks on. Seriously, this is how we take care of our people? Frostbite is just a way of life for the unhoused, I think, which is very sad.
But even though it's dangerous to sleep out here, not everyone feels welcome at a shelter.
You want to help them right where they're at.
So Viria comes to 16th and Sherman.
I don't know what it takes. What does it take, Jess, to come out here and do this? What kind of person?
A little craziness, I think.
That's what I was told last night.
A choice of empathy on this snow day in March.
If I have a good impact on somebody and their life is improving, that's good.
And so far this winter season, UC Health says they've treated nearly 60 patients with frostbite. Of those, doctors say 80% of them are people experiencing homelessness. Kim?
All right, well, we love their kindness. Makes a difference. Thanks, Katie. So this snow is not going to be cleaned up by the morning. Some schools are on spring break this week, so they didn't have to make that call on a snow day or remote day, often an unpopular decision. Denver Public Schools says everybody gets a snow day tomorrow, unlike the storm a couple of weeks ago. Students in Jefferson County schools will not be so lucky. They will go on remote learning tomorrow. We have a full list of the closures on 9news.com. If you have a commute tomorrow, it's not looking so good, especially early. We're going to check in on the race to get the roads clear for the morning.
In a storm where we measure snow by feet and not inches, that's not good unless you're in a town that spent fall surrounded by wildfire.
Colorado weather has become its own punchline, so it's kind of fun to jump on, and I stepped like right in the stream there.
This guy thought he had jokes, and then the snowstorm had the last laugh.
And as the flakes flew, it was also a very busy day in sports. March Madness now all set. We'll talk about how the local teams fared coming up later on Sports Overtime.